Hey everyone, this is Rochelle from Cable Crack. A lot of people have been asking me about what is on my Fire Stick, and it's just easier to make a video. The way I want to set up this video is that a beginner who's never touched a Fire Stick will be able to go through the video and feel very comfortable about manipulating their Fire Sticks. But I don't want to waste people's time, so I'm going to put all of the timestamps in the description below, so you'll be able to go to the segments that you need. And it's important that you learn how to manipulate your Fire Stick, because even if you pay for one that has everything at that time, eventually things change. Kodi always upgrades to another version, so a lot of times you're going to have to upgrade that Fire Stick to have that newest Kodi version on it, as well as the builds that are on top of Kodi. They change. Sometimes they stop working. Sometimes a better build comes out. So you would need to know how to get rid of that build and put another build on. Also, there's outside of Kodi free apps that come and go. They work for a while and then they stop working. So you need to be able to update your Fire Stick if you own one. Okay, so I'm really going to take this video slow as far as really starting from the bare minimum and going all the way up to expert level. And ultimately, you don't have to be wasted or bogged down with the whole entire video, because I am going to put the segments in the description below with the timestamp so you can find the section that you need to find. So without wasting any more time, let's get to it. Okay, so let's talk about what Fire Stick do you own. You probably own one of the three that I'm about to show you. The older Fire Stick looks like this. It's a little bit more rectangular. Then the next Fire Stick wasn't as rectangular, and that one is still effective. And obviously the brand new one that just came out probably in the last 4 months, that Fire Stick has additional buttons on it. It has a new volume button and a mute button, so you can control the volume from your Fire Stick and not have to use your separate TV remote. And it's 4K, a lot faster. So my word of advice is, if you're still using that old Fire Stick, just invest your $40 and get a new Fire Stick, and the apps will work a lot better and a lot faster. Okay, so now you have your Fire Stick, but you may not be sure how to hook it up to your TV. I told you I was going to go to the beginner. So even if you don't know anything about a Fire Stick, you're going to be able to hook this Fire Stick up from this tutorial. So what you want to do is, on your TV, is find an HDMI input. It looks like the ones on the screen. They can be anywhere. It could be in the back, could be in the front of the TV, in the front panel, could be on the side. You want to find that input. If you happen to have an older TV, you may not have an HDMI input. I will put another segment in this video suggesting what you need if you want to use a Fire Stick on an older TV that doesn't have an HDMI input. But okay, now once you find that HDMI input, you're going to plug your Fire Stick in. Make sure you have it connected to a power outlet as well. Okay, once you have that all set up, you now have to get to that input menu. So usually you can use your remote to get to the input menu. They'll have an input button somewhere on the remote. I notice on cable remotes, it's usually on the bottom left-hand side. I don't think it's called input. I think it's called something like A-B connection or something like that. But anyway, once you find that input button, if you don't have a remote or you can't find it, then usually there's manual buttons on your TV, like where you would adjust your channels or your volume. If you didn't have a remote, you should be able to find the input button there and press it manually. And once you are able to get an input mode, you are going to see an input screen on your TV. And that's where you're going to identify which HDMI input your Fire Stick is connected to. So you're going to switch it to that HDMI connection, and that's going to allow you to see your Fire Stick and be able to proceed. Okay, let's start off with a brand new Fire TV Stick 4K. So this is the latest Fire Stick as of April 2019. And you're going to eventually get to this screen. There'll be different languages flashing, but ultimately you're going to have to press this button. It's the pause play button. It's underneath the home button. And once you click that, it's going to ask you what language, obviously English and the United States. You'll press your OK button. Okay, now it's going to be scanning for networks. And this is where you're going to set up your internet connection. Okay, so mine happens to be FiOS, so I'm going to click on that one. And then ultimately, I have to put a password in. Okay, so once you have connected to your Wi-Fi and put your password in, then you're going to get this screen, and it's basically setting up the Fire Stick now. Okay, and it's going to, like it said, power off, and then it's going to power back on. So now the Fire Stick is off and restarting itself, and now it's installing the latest software. Okay. Okay, so now we're at the end of the software update, and the Fire Stick is going to go onto this screen. And I'm not sure how long it's going to take. It didn't take too long. Okay, so you got the Fire Stick again, now in the orange emblem. There's some dots on the right-hand side of the screen, and it's doing its updates. Okay, so now it says it's scanning for networks again. Not sure why, but it obviously found the FiOS, and also I have put my password in, so we're all good. So now we're up to the point of the Amazon account. So you have to have an Amazon account, and that Amazon account has to be hooked up to a credit card. Now, you're not going to be using the credit card for Kodi or any free apps, and you're not going to be using it for Amazon Prime if you're part of Amazon Prime. The only time you would use it is if you decide you want to pay for an app that requires a subscription or a payment, or if you do some on-demand type purchases, then they would charge your credit card. But ultimately, they're not going to charge your credit card. But it is essential that you have a credit card on your Amazon account, or you're not going to be able to move past this step, okay? So I already have an Amazon account, but if you do not, you can get a new one by clicking over to I am new to Amazon and then setting up the account here, or you can go on your computer and set it up and come back to this point. But ultimately, you have to have an Amazon account with a credit card. So I'm going to click on, I already have an Amazon account, and I'm going to put my information in, and then I'll proceed from there. Okay, I just entered in my username for my Amazon account and my password, and I'm going to sign in. Okay, and providing this information is correct, they have this new verification code. So they're sending a verification code to my cell phone, and I'm going to enter that one in. So I'm going to press next, and then I'm going to click the information that they just sent me. And this is an extra security feature that they have now. So again, this isn't the verification code for everyone. It's a one-time use verification code that's going to be sent to your email or your phone. Okay, so once it has that verification code, it's going to now register this Fire Stick, and it's asking me if this is me, and if not, I can move over and change my account, but it is me, so I'm going to continue. All right, I usually say no to saving passwords. It doesn't really matter. I think it saves it anyway, even though you say no. And if you want to put some parental controls on, you can go to enable parental controls, but I don't need them, so I'm going to click no parental controls. Okay, so now it's going into the setup phase again, and we'll come back. Oh, it wasn't that long. Okay, no problem. So it's telling you that it's going to be playing some music on this step, and to make sure your volume is up. My volume is up, so I'm going to press next. Okay. So with this particular remote, because it is the 4K, I don't know if you can see this, but it has two new buttons down here. Okay. And this allows you to basically pair this remote with your TV so that you can control the volume now of your TV as well as mute it from the remote. You don't have to have the separate remote for volume control. So that's kind of cool. And it's pretty smart. You just point it to the TV, toggle the volume up and down, and then it's going to know. See, it's already knows what TV I have, and the volume is already working, and I'm just going to press yes. If that didn't happen for some reason, you would press no, and then you'd have to go through those instructions to pair the remote, but it recognized my TV immediately, so I'm just going to press yes. All right, so now my remote is successfully set up. I'm going to press OK. And now it's going to go through its short video, and I'll fast forward to the end of the video. Okay, so the small short video has finished, but ultimately it talks about your new remote, the new buttons that I pointed out. There's also a power button that's new as well at the top. It talks about how to deal with or talk with Alexa to have more control over your remote. It also tells you that the Alexa in this remote can be paired to an Echo device if you have that as well. So it's pretty short. And then you come to this screen and it says get started. Okay, so usually when I'm here, I don't know what I'm going to want in the future. So I just check all of these boxes. So you just, move up and down, press the enter button in order to put checks on all of the boxes. It has different segments of boxes. So obviously these are like networks right here. And then these are sports kind of apps. Again, I'm not going to pay for the apps, or this is not going to make me get a charge on my credit card or anything. This is just basically putting the shortcut to the app on the Fire Stick. And then at some point in the future, I may want to buy one of these apps. And so when I get to the end of it, it was 6 of them times 4. So it was 24 checks that I just did. You're going to click the pause play button, which is underneath the home button on your remote. And that just basically says this is going to be added to my home screen. That's it. I just put them there again, just in case I may want to buy an app in the future. Okay. And then I click finish. And you're going to see as we're putting Kodi on the remote that these add-ons or these shortcuts are going to be frequently uploading themselves as we're doing stuff. So now we're on the home screen of the Fire Stick. The first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that the Fire Stick can be programmed with third-party applications. So we're scrolling all the way to settings. We're going to come down, go across to My Fire TV. Now it may be called something else on other devices, on other not devices, but other Fire Sticks that are not 4K, right? So you may have the Fire Stick that was the one right before this, doesn't have the 2 new buttons, okay? And then you may have one that looks squarer, right? So as you can see, the MOB at bat just added itself to the Fire Stick. So you're going to see this constantly. But again, the My Fire TV, it may be called something else. But you should be able to figure out what your device, what it's called on your device, because it's going to be basically in the same placement, right? So when I click on My Fire TV, I'm going to come down to developer options and click that. And I want to turn on both of these options. Now that second option gives you an extra screen and you're going to have to say turn it on. Now they're both on, okay? So now I'm just going to press the home button to go back to the home page. So what we just did now is we made the Fire Stick available to now be able to add third-party external applications to it. Okay, so now we're set up. We're going to go to the little magnifying glass, the search glass, I guess that's called. And what we want to do is we want to go and get an app called Downloader. So I'm just going to start typing in the letters for downloader. And you don't have to type it all in because it eventually appears down here. So I'm going down to downloader and clicking the OK button for that. And we want that app right there. So we're going to click on it. Now, if you don't have an Amazon account with a credit card on it, you're not going to be able to download this. So you do have to have an Amazon account with a credit card attached to it. Again, this is a free app, but for whatever reason, I tried to do somebody's Fire Stick and they didn't have that already set up and it wouldn't allow me to put downloader on their Fire Stick. Okay, so we're going to click download and now it's queued. We're going to click queued. Now it says got it and we're going to click got it. Now it's installing. Okay, the reason why we need this particular application is because it pretty much is your browser. So if you don't have a Android device, which usually comes with Chrome, since this is a Fire Stick and is not I guess it is an Android device, but it's not made by, I guess, Android. So in order for us to maneuver and get apps and take things off and add things on, we need this in order to do this. This is kind of like our browser. So we're going to click open. All right, and now this is new to the 4K Fire Sticks. This isn't asked on other Fire Sticks, but on the 4K Fire Stick, you have to pretty much get this new message and click allow in order to move to the next screen. When you first come into downloader, just click OK. And then here, you have your URL. So this is our browser. So we're going to click OK to open up the online keyboard. And I always add Kodi from Kodi.tv. And the reason why is because it always just has the most recent version. I don't have to, I was typing it in wrong, sorry. I don't have to, figure out who has the latest version. I can just come straight to Kodi.tv and get the most recent version. So after I click Kodi.tv in, then I'm going to click go. Okay. You just say okay to this JavaScript message here. Now you have your mouse. You see the little red dot, and you go up and down and across by clicking on the rim of the OK button. So I'm going to go down, and as I go down, I get to this first screen here with these little images, and I want to click on Android. Okay, once I click on that, I want to come down, go past the t-shirts, go past the new little pictures, and I'm looking for this older releases section of this page, and this hyperlink right here that says here, H-E-R-E, the little blue hyperlink right here. And again, you just keep moving the cursor sideways and up and down till you can land on it. Okay. And then once I click on here, I want to go to the Android / here. So I'll just keep clicking around till I'm on it. And then I also want to click on ARM, ARM /. Okay, now as you can see, all of these different versions of Kodi are available to you. The one, and I'm not sure if all of these 18 version 18s are working. The one that I know that is working for sure is this 18.1 Leah ARM ABI, I guess that's what that's called, version 7a.apk. So that's the one that I want to put on my Fire Stick as of April 2019. But I'm quite sure there'll be many more, and you'll be able to find the most recent version by going to Kodi.tv and clicking on the one that you desire. Because I haven't tested the 18.2 versions, I'm not going to do it for this tutorial, but I am going to click on the 18.1 version. Okay. After you click this, you're going to get 2 status bars. So this is actually moving pretty fast. So as you can see, it all depends on the speed of your Wi-Fi. Okay. And now this box pops up, which I'm not sure because it didn't pop up before, but we'll press install here. And then that's installing Kodi. I guess this is a new Kodi box, right? This stuff is going to change periodically, but ultimately, if you kind of know the premise of how to do things, when you get these additional boxes, it's not going to scare you or rattle you because you pretty much know how to do this. So after this installs, we'll press open. So I move the toggle over to open, and I'm clicking the OK button. All right. I'm not sure what this is now. Requires access. Okay, so we just press continue, no problem. We got that new Kodi box. We'll press allow. And this is what the new Kodi home screen looks like. And actually, it wasn't 2 boxes for the install. It was only 1 this time, so good. All right, so now we're on native Kodi. So whenever I say native Kodi, that's when you don't have a build on top of Kodi. This is the original. This is just the Kodi player with no build on top of it. So the next step is, now that Kodi is on the Fire Stick, we want to put our build on top of Kodi. So we're going to go up to this gear icon that's for the settings and click it. We want to now make sure that Kodi will allow third-party applications. So we're going to move over to system. Again, it may look different on your Fire Stick if you have an older Fire Stick, but it's going to be the same. The position of the icons will be different, but they're going to be named the same. So you're going to be able to find it. We're going to click on system. We're going to come down to add-ons. We don't have to click on add-ons. We just move over to the screen. And we're going to do the same thing. Cut both of these toggles on. And the same thing, it asks us that warning that we know that we're getting ready to allow third-party applications to be able to come into our Kodi. So we're going to press yes. Okay, once that's finished, we have our 2 toggles on. We're going to back out of it and move back to the screen. And this time we're going to go up to File Manager and click on that. Now we're going to come down to add source. So this is where we're going to put the URL into for MisfitMods, because that's my favorite build right now. So when you get this screen from clicking add source, and it's highlighting the none screen right here, you want to click to get the online keyboard. Okay, so this is Kodi's keyboard. And we're going to type in the URL for MisfitMods. So again, I will put all of these URLs in the description below. So if you can't see my screen perfectly, or if you can't understand me and I say something that's not that clear, everything will be down in the description below. So we're going to do MisfitMods.com /mmwiz. And we need a little extra stuff on this URL. It's a long URL, repo. Okay, so once we have that in, we are going to go to the OK button. So we have http://misfitmods.com /mmwiz/repo. Okay, press OK. It already named it repo. That's fine. We'll come down to the OK button and click OK. And what I do usually when I get to this screen, just to make sure that I typed in that URL correctly, I move up to the word repo because that was the name of it. And I just want to make sure that I see these files here. That means that I definitely put the URL in correctly. If I did not put the URL in correctly, when I come to this step, I won't see anything here. If that happens, just go back to add source. You go back here and redo the whole thing over again. Come back here and check it. I'm good because I see my repository. So I'm going to back out of this again, back out of here, and come back to the native Kodi home screen. Now I'm going to come down to add-ons, click on add-ons, and this little box up in the corner here, we want to go in there. And then we want to come down to install from zip drive. We're going to come down and find repo because that was the name of the URL for MisfitMods. Click on that and then come down to repository.misfitmods.zip and click on that. It should update fairly quickly up in the right-hand corner. So the add-on has been installed. We're going to move up to install from repository and click on that. Then we're going to come down to MisfitMods repository and click on that. We're going to come down to program add-ons, click on that. We're going to see MisfitMods wizard and click on that. Then we're going to click install. All right, you're going to see everything downloading. It's downloaded. Downloads pretty fast. Again, all depends on your internet connection. I'm just going to move over to dismiss this. You just always get this when you download stuff, so just dismiss it. What I usually do on this screen is I take all of the check marks off. This is a little funny acting because it's kind of like the check mark. You have to click on it to take it off, and you don't realize it's taken off until you scroll down. But ultimately, the only one I usually keep clicked on is clear cache at startup. Okay? Once I have it set up that way, I come down to continue and click continue. All right. This gives a weird message that the build wasn't installed. Anyway, that's fine. I'll just click install complete. And then I'm going to back out. I'm going to go back in by clicking this MisfitMods wizard. And now I'm back to this box. And I'm going to come over and click open. All right, once that ball stops spinning, you have the MisfitMods homepage now. And it's already on builds. That's what I'm going to click. And then depending on your Kodi, you can determine what you want. Okay, so I know that I have, I want Atomic. That's the name of the build, even though it's called MisfitMods. When I'm installing the build on top of Kodi, it's called Atomic. And because I uploaded Kodi 18, I'm going to use Kodi 18 for the install. But if I have Kodi 17 on my Fire Stick currently, I can come down to Atomic 17.6 and install that one as well. Okay? But I'm going to do 18 because I have Kodi 18 on my Fire Stick. So once I have selected it over here, you see it up at the top that I selected that build, Atomic 18 Leah. And I'm going to come down and just click on install. Okay, it asks me if I want to install it. I go over to yes, install. And this is actually where you get the two status bars. So I got a little mixed up at the beginning. It's only one status bar for Kodi, but two status bars for Atomic. And it's moving pretty fast. So I'm just going to let it go through so you can kind of estimate how long it should take. Now, again, it depends on your Wi-Fi connection. So even if yours doesn't move as fast as mine, then you just have a slower Wi-Fi. That's all. But it's moving pretty fast, so I'm just going to let it roll. So that was the first one. And now we're going through the second one. Okay, so now the two status bars have completed for MisfitMods, the Atomic build. And you come up to this message box that tells you that you're going to have to close Kodi and restart it. So we're going to press OK. And we're going to be back at the downloader page because that was running in the background. So no problem. Just click on, you could just click done. And this will allow you to get back up here if you have to use the downloader again. But we're just going to click on the home button on the remote to get back to the home page of the Fire Stick. And we're going to come down to Kodi and click on Kodi. So what this is going to do is now set up Atomic. Okay. Well, it's already set up, but now it's going to load. The build is going to be what you're going to see when you press Kodi. And it's kind of cool. I really like Atomic. I'm going to show you some stuff about Atomic when we get into it. But I also want to tell you that when you are cutting on your Fire Stick, you have to let the apps load, especially Kodi. So that means if you haven't looked at Kodi for a month and then you go to look at it a month later, you have to give it time to scrape the internet and update itself, because it has all of these different apps that is pulling information from, and it needs time to do its thing. So be patient. Don't just start clicking stuff as soon as you get into Kodi, or in this case, the atomic build for MisfitMods. Now, the one thing I like about this is you have this spinning circle here. So that tells you that some stuff is going on. You also have the header up at the top that shows you as it's updating things. Now, usually when you get the temperature at the top of the screen, that's a good indication that it pretty much is, almost completed with the uploads that it's doing. When you come into Kodi, of course, this is our first run of Kodi, but after you've run it and you're coming into it at different times, what you'll see is the date and the time, and there won't be the temperature. And that's how I usually can tell that we're close to finishing up all of the updates, when I see the temperature up at the top. Okay, now, the one thing I do want to do while I'm here is I want to set up my screen, because sometimes it's a little bit too big for the TV. This TV is big, so it's not bad, but you may install or watch your Fire Stick on a smaller TV. So when you're on this tab right here, the main tab, you want to come over and find settings. Now, if you have an older MisfitMods, it may be called System. You may not see settings. I think they changed the word. So either System or Settings, click on that, and you should come to this screen. You're on the interface portion of the screen. So just click on that and then scroll over, and that's where you see the zoom feature. And it has an arrow up and down, and you can adjust your screen by clicking on the arrow. So I'm just going to make it a little bit, well, I'll do mine at 2%, but sometimes on certain TVs, I have to do it at like 6%. I'll leave it at 4%. Okay, once you adjust it, then you just back out again, and then you're back at the main screen. So here we are. I'm just going to go back to movies, and I want to show you a nice, neat feature about movies, okay? This box is the greatest. To get into this box, when you're on the movies tab, you're not clicking the movies tab, you're just on the movies tab. You click your direction button up, that puts you into the box. Once you're in the box, then you can pick from, different things that you like. All right. Now, if you're on an older version, you'll just see TV movies, but in this version, it seems like it's giving you some extra stuff as well. But this is kind of like what's trending, what people are requesting and looking at. So it's kind of telling you what is the latest and greatest things. Even if it's an older movie that's trending, it'll be in here. But what I like about it is when you find a movie, and I'm just going to find a movie that I watch currently. I watched Escape Room, which I thought was pretty good. So this is the new Escape Room. When I click Escape Room, it's going to give me a few links to choose from. But what's great about it is I find that 90% of the time these links work and they're good. Not any buffering. And when I do find a link that buffers, which isn't often, I usually just come back here and choose another link, and it works. So if you have a TV that's older, or your Wi-Fi isn't the greatest, you could choose from a 480p link. Or if you have a slamming system, you can go for the full 1080 full HD link. Now, I can tell you when I do the 480 link, I can't even tell the difference whether it's 480 or 1080, but I do know that I have less chance of a buffering issue popping up if I choose the slower speed. So I'm just going to click on 480p, And hopefully Kodi stays true to its word. But ultimately, it comes on pretty good. As you can see, looks like it's going to be a great connection. I always use the online remote. So when you're watching a movie, click the OK button, and that gives you the remote at the bottom of the screen. And you can forward, which I'm going to do right now. Obviously, the more times you click forward, the faster the forward becomes. But I just want to show you that it's a pretty decent copy, and it's 480. Not bad. So let me just keep forwarding just so you can see the very, very beginning, and then I'll cut it off real quick. Okay, I'm just going to come right back to play. And this is how the movie starts. And if I want to get rid of the online remote, I just press back, and that gets rid of the remote. Okay, so excellent copy. Thought it was a pretty good movie. Check it out if you want to see a decent movie. I'm just going to press stop. And again, the greatest way to me to get movies on this MisfitMods atomic build is to click up and go inside of that box and get your links from that box. Okay, another, good thing is, let me just come out of here for a second. Let me get back to the movies tab. So you can do the same thing for TVs as well. So when you're in the TVs tab, click up again, and that'll show you all of the, I guess, trending shows. And you're going to get good links from going inside of that box. But ultimately, let me go back to the movies link again for one moment. I'm on movies, and if you guys need adult content, it's already here. You don't have to download something additional. Okay, so for adult content, if you have this atomic build on your Fire Stick, you come to the movies tab, you come down to the sub menu, and go all the way to the right. And there's your adults right there. Okay, when you click that, you have access to a few. Well, I think I can cut it on without it being graphic. Let's see. I forgot what was the page on here. I guess you have to agree to it now. Okay, and there you go. You got all of your group stuff on here now, whatever it is that you want to see. Okay, let's get out of that. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the atomic build, which I like pretty much. Obviously, click around, find other things. It has, TV shows. It has sports. It has some live sports on here too. So definitely fiddle around with that, because there are definitely some good add-ons for live sports here. You have urban. You have fan faves. Your settings is obviously stuff. If you want to power off, you have your power tab here. You have music as well, and you have kids as well. So a lot of good stuff on Atomic, so definitely check it out. Okay, so we've just downloaded our MisfitMods, and now I want to put some extra external apps on my Fire Stick that can give me additional programming that maybe Kodi can't give me. So I'm just going to click on the home button on my remote to go back to the Fire Stick home screen. And I want to download another app that will allow me to navigate to what I need. I want to come down to the downloader because I'm going to need it as my browser again to be able to download the next thing I need, the next app that I need in order to get the rest of the stuff I want to put on my Fire Stick. So you want to get up into the URL line right here where you see the flashing orange cursor, and click right there, and that'll allow you to get the online keyboard up, and you can delete the address out of here in order to put a new address in. Now, if for some reason you are in downloader and for some reason you can't get to this, I'll show you in a little while how you can reset downloader. But since I'm here, let me just put that URL in. And what I want to type in here is get dot file linked. So that's with the ED at the end. .com. Okay, so the correct address to get FILELINK is get.filelinked.com. Again, all URLs are in the description below. Okay, so it's going to download it real quick. It's going to ask us, do we want to install this? So we make sure we highlight the install button and click on the install, and it should be fairly quick. It is installed. We'll move over to open, and now we can open it. So now what this is going to do is allow us to go into these FILELINK apps that people set up and be able to get the rest of the stuff outside of Kodi that we want to add onto the Fire Stick. And usually you have to type a number into this number code box right there. So I just made sure that I clicked up to make sure the cursor is in that field. And I'm going to click this to clear out what I had in there. I'm going to use this. It's usually an 8-digit code. So I'm just going to put in this code. And these are people who set up basically screens where you can download content. So once I have the code in, I'm going to click the green continue button. Okay, and this particular person set up different apps that you can download from his page. I'm going to press OK to dismiss that message. Okay, a good app that's outside of Kodi is called Mobdro. So the download arrow is green. I'm going to dismiss this pop-up box, and I'm going to click on that arrow. Once it downloads successfully, then that button is going to turn into a play button. If it's green, that means it's highlighted. I'm going to click on the play button. If you have a 4K Fire Stick, you're going to get this extra pop-up. I'm going to move over to install and click that. And these apps update or install pretty fast, I should say. So once it's installed, you click over to open and click open. You have to agree to Mobdro's terms. The new Fire Stick always asks you, are you allowing this to happen? Just click yes, allow. And the one thing that's good about Mobdro is you can get, live channels on it. I'm quite sure you can get a lot of stuff. Some spiritual for you church-going peeps. There you go. Podcasts. But I mostly use it for just channels if there's a channel that I don't have on cable. And I've tested this. I've looked at BET and it's definitely live. It's delayed, but it's live. So meaning what I see on the TV is showing, and then a minute later, I see it on this app. Let's see, let's find something. Let's go to OWN and see if it opens up. So you just click on the icon and just give it a little while. Sometimes it takes about a minute to spin, sometimes faster, but it does open up. So as you can see, this is OWN. I'm not sure what this is. I guess this is Ali has a cooking show, I guess. It's 1:32. So 1:32 on Sunday. Check your guide and you'll see that that's live. But let's cut it off before we get into trouble here. But it does give you some live channels. So this is a good app for live channels. Mobdro, Mobdro. Okay, let's now talk about installing TTV. That's another good outside of Kodi app. So we again are going to go down and find downloader. Click on that. Again, if you can't get your cursor inside of that URL address bar, you can always go to your settings, then manage applications, and then that will allow you to get to the downloader and be able to force close it. Okay. What I'll do here is let's enter in Troy Point. Now, Troy Point is a very excellent, always up-to-date website that you can go to and find out everything basically about Kodi. So if something stops working, I would say go here, troypoint.com, and it'll tell you how to get past certain things. We're going to need a / for T. And it will show you a lot of things. When you hit troubles, this is the first place I always look. So for TTV, we're going to go to http:// troypoint.com /T. Sorry for the police siren in the background. Okay, and this is going to download that. Let's give it one moment. Okay, same thing. 4K TV has this extra screen. We're just going to click install. All right. And this is going to give us our TTV app on Fire Stick. Once it's finished, just click over to open and click open. Okay, so this is TTV. I like it a lot too. Most of the time I just use it for movies. Again, you get that allow access message box. This is on the 4K Fire Stick, so just say yes. Accept their terms by scrolling down and getting the cursor to the accept button and clicking accept. Just click English for English if you are English speaking. Just really quick, the side menu here is how you determine what you're going to see on this home screen. So right now we're on the television show home screen. We are going to go down to the movie icon and click on that. And now we see all movies. So the first time I use it, I always try to click on a movie I know that is good, has a good copy. I did recently look at Glass. So it tells us that we need the T player. So this is going to allow us to set that up. We're going to move the cursor over to install. And that's going to allow the T player that TTV uses to install. So again, same 4K message box, just press install. And as soon as it's finished, then TTV is going to be ready to go for you to have another source to get movies when you can't get them from Kodi. So again, click to open, click allow, and this should be really easy. I think actually we didn't even have to open it. So once you see T player on the top, that means that the player is now installed. I'm just going to click back. And now when we open up stuff in Kodi, I'm so used to saying Kodi. When we open up stuff in TTV now, it should work. So I'm on Glass, so let's just open up Glass. The way TTV works is the play button is actually on the icon right here. So you see I'm switching it so I can show you. It's on that icon, and that's how you play. So I'm just going to click play. It's going to give us our providers. And I usually look for, there's one that always is pretty good. Let me see if it pops up here. See if I can find it real quick. If not, I'll just click on anything. But there's usually one that I always look for. It's a .eu provider, but I don't see it here. So I'm just going to click on anything at this point. I'll click on a 480p one. Then you select what play option you want. I just usually select play, regular, nothing additional. And we'll see if it takes a long time to pop up here. I know that I watched this in Kodi, and I used MisfitMods build Atomic, and I had no problems with any buffering. It was a perfect copy, perfect sound. So let's see if T has something for it as well. Okay, looks pretty good. Now with T, the difference is to get their online remote, you have to click up, and that's how you get their remote. And they don't have like a forward button or anything. You basically click to the right, And that allows you to go forward 10 times fast or rewind 10 times fast. The remote isn't as good as the Kodi remote, but this is the movie. It's a perfect copy, as you can see. And so let me just show you the beginning.
There's no revolution, Dennis. Do not be scared. You have to trust me, as you always have.
And for one thing I want to say is the guy who plays, I don't even know their names, but the guy that plays all the personality, I don't know why he hasn't been nominated for every acting award ever, because this guy is so extraordinary. It looks a little dark. It is a dark movie, like this part, but it is a perfect copy, trust me. Okay, so that's it for TTV. Again, to get the remote, click up for TTV. I'm just going to press pause and we're going to get out of here. So to get out of there, just go up to the top and come across, and then that's how you get out of the movie. It'll ask you if you want to exit the play, and you just say yes. And that's how you get out of it. It will show you some commercials. You just back out of it and to get back to where you want to get to, and then go all the way back up to the top again, get to that arrow, and then it's asking you again. I don't know why to accept. We already did, but we'll accept it again. And that'll get you back out. You just have to keep going to the arrows to get to the main screen. Remember to always use this menu on the left. So movies is the movie icon, and then TV shows is this little, that's rocket ship. So that's not even TV. That's, I guess, MMA stuff. The TVs is the little TV screen. And that's how you can get to the selection for TV and movies and MMA. So this is a good add-on outside of Kodi to find things that you may not be able to find on Kodi. Again, that's TTV. Okay, so for this part of the video, I wanted to show you some extra things that as you start to get comfortable with manipulating your Fire Stick, these are some things that you may need down in the future. So for instance, today is April 29th, and Terranium is acting weird, and I saw a message on one of the pages that I look at that it's not working right now. That doesn't mean it won't work tomorrow, and when it does work, I'll upload another video, short video, showing you how to add Terranium, because when it is working, it is a good outside of Kodi app to have on your Fire Stick. So I tried to put Terranium on, but it doesn't work. Okay, so let's just say this was 2 days from now and it was working. So in order to get if we ever want to reload things, you want to take the original copy of whatever it is off of your Fire Stick and then do whatever you have to do to reload a new copy. So in this case, because Terranium is acting up today, and I already tried to put it on the Fire Stick and it didn't work. I mean, it put it on there, but it seems like the when you go to find the providers, it's not pulling up the providers. So something is going on. Again, doesn't mean tomorrow it won't work. When it does work, I'll put up a new video for that segment. But for now, I want to erase it off the Fire Stick. I don't need it to be on there. And when I go to add it in the future, the Fire Stick won't have it on there, so there'll be no conflicts when I go to add it. So what you do is from your Fire Stick menu here, you go across the settings and then come down to applications and click on applications. Then come down to manage installed applications and click on that. So with anything, these are all of your apps. This allows you to control your apps. So I'm going to come down to Terranium, and I want to totally erase this off of the Fire Stick. So I click on Terranium TV, and I'm going to come down and press uninstall. It's going to ask me again, do I want to uninstall it? And that's what I'm going to do. So right now there is no Terranium on my Fire Stick. So when it does start to work, I'll come back and add it onto my Fire Stick, and I won't have any conflicts. The other thing that's notable here is when you want to change your build on top of Kodi. Okay, so you don't want to change the version, you just want to maybe put a new build on, or maybe put an updated version of the same build on. So the way you can do that, you don't have to uninstall Kodi if you want to keep that version of Kodi. You would find Kodi, click on Kodi, and then you can just clear the data. If I clear the data, that's going to allow me to have native Kodi, and then I can put the new build on top of Kodi. If the version is something you don't want, so let's say I came here and I had version 17.6, which is an older version, I would have to uninstall Kodi totally. That's going to remove the build also. And then if I click uninstall and uninstall again, there'll be no more Kodi on the Fire Stick. Then I'll have to go back to Kodi.tv, find the version that I want, download that version. That'll give me native Kodi, and then I would be able to add the build on top of Kodi. Okay, so I just wanted to highlight that. The other thing is sometimes downloader will act up. So you'll put stuff on downloader, and then for some reason it sometimes gets stuck and you can't get the cursor back to the URL address bar. So here's another thing that you can do. You can go to downloader and you can force stop it from here. When you force stop it, when you go back to the home screen and you go into downloader, you'll be back to the original screen of downloader. So as a matter of fact, let me just show you what that looks like. We were already in downloader. So I'm going to go back again to settings, go back to applications, go back to manage installed applications. I'm going to find downloader, click on that, and I'm just going to force stop it. Okay. When I go back to the home screen and then I find downloader and click on it, it's going to be back to that original first screen before we went through all of the other screens we had to go through when we're downloading stuff. And now my cursor is back at the address bar. I click OK, and that gives me the online keyboard to be able to put the URL that I need into downloader. So I just wanted to show you that as well. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. If you followed all the steps here, you definitely are now an expert Fire Stick manipulator. And ultimately, with this video, you were able to add Kodi to your Fire Stick, add a build, which was MisfitMods Atomic build. Love the build. And you have now TTV and you have Mobdro. And I will update my channel with the Terranium fix once that occurs. It's been going in and out for months now, so I'm assuming there will be a fix. And again, if you do this a few times with Fire Sticks, you're going to be an absolute pro, and you'll be able to do it by memorization, and you won't even have to look at a video anymore. So I hope this was useful, and thanks again. This is Rochelle from Cable Crack.